Good evening. It's me again. I don't know, I'm so awkward at these beginnings of these videos, but I just am, so we'll just have to deal. So tonight we are going to read an excerpt from Two Worlds Collide, a Dr. John Watson story, which is based off of Sherlock Holmes. All credit to Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I'm going to read chapter 1, and as always, if you like what you hear, you can go to Amazon and buy the rest of the book. All right, we're ready to start. Bronte Walsh and Emma Ryan are best friends who were both very career-driven. Bronte was hired as a psychiatrist to a prominent practice in Seattle, Washington. At the same time, Emma was recruited for a history job at the University of Washington. They chose to buy a house together to ease the cost of living, since they were both moving to a new city for their new positions all the way from Tampa, Florida. Their home was modern, more so than either would really describe as their style, but they loved it. Each woman had their own room, big enough for a desk, and a third bedroom where they kept a futon in case anyone ever came to visit. The best part of their little condo was the roof that came off of their living room. They set up 2 seats with blankets to get cozy for their frequent coffee and wine dates, depending on the time of day. Emma, this is our one free day of the week, and you really want to go to the Elliott Bay Book Company again? Bronte asked, half whining as she spoke. Emma rolled her eyes. I need more research for my thesis, and don't pretend like you don't love that store. Bronte let out a small laugh while she pulled on her boots. There was rarely a warm day in Seattle. You're right. Let's go before I change my mind. You are aware I'd like to spend my entire day in bed, she joked, though both women knew she was partially serious. I do know that, Emma replied. Get in the car, she fake ordered her friend. Emma drove them to the bookstore where the women parted ways once they were inside. Well, after they acquired a cup of coffee because they both needed fuel to shop and read. Emma moved toward the history section where she would be able to further her research on Abraham Lincoln. I knew I should have put them away. My apologies, as always. While Bronte wandered around until she found a rare set of first edition novels. Bronte ran her hand over a few of the volumes sitting before her until one in particular caught her eye, a copy of The Hound of the Baskervilles. She picked it up and looked it over before opening it to read the first pages, which quickly turned into her taking a seat on the floor and falling deep into the story. This was always one of her favorite books. Did you find something you liked? Emma's voice interrupted Bronte's reading. I was sure you would have asked me to leave already, she teased, taking a seat next to her. Bronte closed the book and passed it to her friend. I found a first edition of The Hound of the Baskervilles. It was one of the first books I ever read and remains one of my favorites to this day. Maybe someday I can afford this copy, she mused while Emma looked over the cold novel. Can you imagine shelling out this much money for a book? Emma finally spoke, so many distractions. You can hear them all. Yesterday was so smooth, but it's all good. Anyway, we're on the last page, too. Can you imagine shelling out this much money for a book? Emma finally spoke, even as a book lover. This is steep. Bronte nodded. I would have to have a really good reason, that's for sure. She changed the subject as Emma tried to hand back the novel, but she gestured for her to set it back with the others. Did you find everything you needed, she asked. Mostly, Emma answered. There are still plenty of resources out there I could use, but these will do for now. Do you want to get dinner before we head back to the house? 100% yes, Bronte responded. All this reading has me starving. How do you feel about sushi? It's great because it's quick and you and I both have plenty of work to get done once we get home. Emma grinned. Shiros? Bronte nodded, and they both got up from the floor to make their way to the restaurant for drinks and sushi. Later that night, as the Elliott Bay Book Company closed, things inside grew strange, but no one would know just how odd until the following day. Sorry, I kind of ended that one on a cliffhanger. But you can read more. Just go grab it on Amazon. And join me tomorrow night when we read an excerpt from The Valentine's Day Killer. And it's just as fun as it sounds. All right. Good night, everybody.